Coming in at 10, Eminem vs Machine Gun Kelly. In August of 2018, Eminem released his surprise album Kamikaze, and on that album he decided to take aim at fellow rappers Lil Yachty, Drake, Lil Pump, Tyler the Creator, Joe Budden, Lil Xan, and of course Machine Gun Kelly. Eminem directed a few rhymes at MGK on the song Not Alike, I quote, "But next time you don't gotta use Tech 9 if you wanna come at me with a submachine gun. And I'm not talking to you, but you already know who the F you are, Kelly. I don't use sublimes and sure as F don't sneak diss, but keep commenting on my daughter Haley." Well then, the lyric seemingly stems from a 2012 tweet MGK posted commenting on how attractive he thought Eminem's daughter was. She was just 16 years old at the time. The tweet said, I quote, "Okay, so I just saw a picture of Eminem's daughter, and I have to say she is hot as fuck. In the most respectful way possible because M is king." In response to Eminem's track, MGK released Rap Devil, which was a poke at the Eminem moniker Rap God, a track that held literally no punches. Eminem was quick with a comeback, putting out the track called Kill Shot, with artwork that featured the likeness of MGK. MGK then responded with an Instagram post captioned, "He missed," with the picture showing MGK standing in front of a crowd wearing a Kill Shot shirt, middle finger high. Coming in at 9, Kim Kardashian vs Khloe Grace Moretz. This feud started a few years back in 2016 after Kim infamously released her nude selfie onto Twitter, which of course went viral. Khloe Grace Moretz was not a fan of this, tweeting, "There's a huge difference in respecting the platform that you're given as a celebrity and slut shaming, something I never have done and would never do." Kim wasn't a fan of this, responding to her tweet with, I quote, "Let's all welcome Khloe Grace Moretz to Twitter since no one knows who she is. Your nylon cover is cute, boo." Oof. The shade. Now, the two don't seem to have made amends since then, and Khloe seems to have no regrets tweeting out to Kim in the first place. She recently stated, I quote, "That picture wasn't linked to body confidence. It wasn't hashtag body confidence or hashtag love who you are. It was done in a slightly voyeuristic light, which I felt was a little inappropriate for young women to see." Preach, Khloe. I agree. Coming in at 8, Paris Hilton vs Nicole Richie. Paris and Nicole were childhood best friends who dominated reality TV when they starred together on the popular series The Simple Life back in 2003, which followed the pair as they travelled across the country, rid themselves of money and material items, and lived a very simple life. However, at the height of the show's fame, the two suddenly were at war with one another. Paris Hilton stated, I quote, "It's no big secret that Nicole and I are no longer friends. Nicole knows what she did, and that's all I'm ever going to say about it." Now, according to some reports, Nicole was jealous of the attention Paris was receiving, so she threw a party to celebrate Paris's appearance on the sketch show SNL, and followed it with a screening of Paris's notorious 2003 sex tape. Wow. Since then, the two made up and filmed 2 more seasons of The Simple Life. However, back in 2014, Nicole appeared on Andy Cohen's Watch What Happens Live, stating that the two don't talk much anymore, but she does still consider her to be a friend. Coming at 7, Elton John vs Madonna. This is one of the most notorious feuds on our list, with this pair being longtime frenemies, with a feud that became more apparent during the 2012 Golden Globe Awards. The two singers were pitted against each other in the Best Original Song category, and prior to the ceremony, Elton John was interviewed by Carson Daly, asking him who had the best chance of winning. When Madonna's name came up, Elton responded with, "She doesn't have a f***ing chance of winning." Madonna responded in kind, stating that those were fighting words, and of course, the Queen of Pop came out on top and beat out Elton for the grand prize. Good on you, Madge. Coming in at 6, Angelica Houston vs Jackie Weaver. This is a fresh feud for all you Hollywood gossip fanatics out there. In May of this year, Angelica Houston was on the press tour for John Wick Chapter 3, during which time she made some remarks about her contemporaries and their career choices. One jab in particular seemed to be directed at Jackie Weaver and her choice to do the film Poms. I quote, "Quite honestly, I'm looking for movies that impress me in some way, that aren't apologetically humble or humiliating like Band of Cheerleaders gets back together for one last hurrah, you know, an old lady cheerleader movie." Oof. Shots fired. Weaver's film Poms is of course that exact premise, so she had some choice words for Houston, stating, well, she can go f*** herself. However, in a radio interview with Andy Cohen, Houston apologized, well, a little bit, stating, "I hope I didn't hurt anyone's feelings, and if I did, I hope they come back at me." Well then, Jackie, now's your chance. Coming in at 5, Alyssa Milano vs Shannon Doherty. Growing up, WB's Charmed was my absolute favorite show, and Alyssa Milano and Shannon Doherty were 2 of the 3 stars on that show. That was up until Doherty was fired and replaced by Rose McGowan. According to sources, Milano and Doherty had a lot of conflicts between the scenes, which resulted in Doherty Doherty leaving. When Milano appeared on Andy Cohen's show, she stated, I quote, "I don't know if she got fired. We never really found out what happened. I can tell you that we were on the air with her for 3 years and there were definitely some rough days." Since then, it seems the two have somewhat buried the hatchet, with Milano stating, "What happens 15 years ago or however long it was, it's irrelevant." Milano also very quickly came to Doherty's side when she was diagnosed with breast cancer back in 2015. Coming in at 4, Ariana Grande versus Pete Davidson. Ariana Grande and Pete Davidson infamously called off their engagement in October 14th of last year. However, the SNL star was very quick to make jokes at the expense of his ex-fiancée in early November. During a promo clip for an SNL episode, Pete jokingly proposed to musical guest Maggie Rogers, stating, I quote, "Hey Maggie, I'm Pete, you want to get married?" However, she rejects him and Pete states, 0 for 3. Yikes. After the promo was released, Grande tweeted, I quote, "For somebody who claims they hate relevancy, you sure love clinging to it. Oof. I can't deal with the shade." She then tweeted "thank you next" before deleting the tweets. And then of course on November 3rd, Grande released a track inspired by her ex-boyfriends called "Thank You Next," with some of the lyrics stating, I quote, "Even almost got married, and for Pete I'm so thankful. Wish I could say thank you to Malcolm, cause he was an angel. Look what you taught me, and for that I say, thank you next. I'm so f***ing grateful for my ex." That song is a bop. Coming in at 3, Taylor Swift vs Kanye West. This is perhaps one of the most epic feuds that we have on our entire list, with this fallout garnering media attention all over the world. Now this one began all the way back in 2009 at the MTV Music Awards when Kanye West infamously interrupted Taylor Swift's acceptance speech. However, the two publicly made up the following year, with West even discussing doing new music with Taylor in 2015. I quote, "She wants to get in the studio and we're definitely going to go in. I don't have an elitism about music. I don't discriminate." However, their music plans fell through when Kanye released his song Famous in 2016, where he rapped the lyrics, I quote, "I feel like me and Taylor might still have sex. Why? I made that famous." Taylor retaliated by vocaling her dislike of the song at the 2016 American Music Awards, even accusing Kanye of undermining her success. Now this is where Kim Kardashian joins the feud. She jumped in to defend Kanye by posting several videos of Taylor and Kanye discussing the song and proving that Taylor approved of the track's message from the very beginning. Coming at 2, Betty Davis vs Joan Crawford. Now a lot of you will be surprised that this didn't make our number 1 spot, but you'll see why very soon. Betty Davis and Joan Crawford were Hollywood legends who had a just as legendary feud that started in 1935 when Davis fell in love with actor Franchot Tone on the set of Dangerous. However, the newly divorced Crawford quickly tied Tone down and ended up marrying him first. The feud continued when the two worked together on the iconic 1962 film Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, for which Davis was nominated for an Oscar. However, Crawford allegedly campaigned against her and even went on stage to accept the award on behalf of the winning actress Anne Bancroft. Younger viewers will also be familiar with the feud as it was brought to life on screen for the FX show Feuds, starring Jessica Lange and Susan Sarandon. And finally, coming in at number 1, Bella Thorne vs Whoopi Goldberg. On June 15th of this year, a hacker threatened to release Bella Thorne's nude photos after they hacked all of her social media. So Bella took matters into her own hands and instead released them herself. I quote, "I'm putting this out because it's my decision. Now you don't get to take yet another thing from me." Most rallied behind the young star, but not Whoopi Goldberg on The View. The show discussed the situation, but Whoopi didn't seem to think Bella's actions were brave and instead shamed her. She said, I quote, "Listen, if you're famous, I don't care how old you are. You don't take nude pictures of yourself. When they're hacking you, they're hacking all of your stuff. So whether it's 1 picture or 1,000,000 pictures, once you take that picture, it goes into the cloud and it's available to any hacker who wants it. And if you don't know that in 2019 that this is an issue, I'm sorry, you don't get to do that." Bella wasn't going to let Whoopi get the final say though, and she took to her Instagram stories, first writing a long note about how upset she was by Whoopi's stance before announcing she was cancelling her upcoming appearance on The View because she didn't want to get beaten down by older women. She then uploaded a video. Through tears, she stated, "I'm not going to lie, I want to say I feel pretty disgusting. I just want to say, watching this interview, you made me feel really bad about myself and I hope you're happy, I really do. I can only imagine all the kids who have their shit released and then they commit suicide. You're so crazy for thinking such terrible things on such an awful situation." Whoopi failed to respond, but others were quick to come to the defense of Bella, and rightly so.
At number 10, The Weeknd and the Grammys. The Grammys are one of the most prestigious awards in the music industry. Pretty much every artist dreams of one day receiving one, and they probably don't want to put their chances of receiving one in jeopardy. One artist, however, isn't interested in being on the Grammys' good side and would rather fight them than be friends. Singer The Weeknd announced that he would be boycotting the Grammys for the foreseeable future due to the unfairness of the awards. It's alleged that there are secret committees within the Academy who decide who gets nominated and who wins awards, and this has been the subject of the feud between The Weeknd and the Grammys. These allegations stem from the revelations made by former chief executive Deborah Duggan, who filed a 44-page complaint about the Grammys where she cited, quote, "The Grammys voting process is ripe with corruption. Members of the board of trustees and the secret committees choose artists with whom they have personal or business relationships," end quote. After his 2020 song Blinding Lights was snubbed of any nominations, The Weeknd blamed the alleged corruption for his snub, and he and the Academy have been in a war of words, so to speak, ever since. Other than the allegations of corruption within the Academy, The Weeknd also alleges that he was locked out of Grammy nominations because he decided to perform at the Super Bowl. Because of this music conspiracy, the singer released a statement in March of this year that read, quote, "Because of the secret committees, I will no longer allow my label to submit my music to the Grammys," end quote. At number 9, James Charles and Asian Doll. It's a little embarrassing for celebrities to get dragged online for something as petty as a Twitter feud. Like, imagine trying to clap back at someone just for them to clap back even harder, leaving the internet laughing at you. This is pretty much what happened between James Charles and rapper Asian Doll. It all started when the rapper tweeted out about makeup artist prices, where she said, quote, "If you charge over $150 to do a face of makeup, then you can go to hell respectively." James saw this tweet and it frustrated him a bit, to the point where he felt the need to respond, saying, quote, "What a stupid tweet. One foundation can cost $50, artists have to buy every shade for their kit, and that's just the first step. It's expensive to work as a makeup artist. Either pay an artist rate for their time and skill, or do it yourself, or get it done at a counter and risk looking busted," end quote. Asian Doll saw his reply and basically clapped back with a "nobody asked you" sort of message, where she basically made a dig at his flashback Mary look. The rapper tweeted saying, quote, "What a dumbass to be in my business replying to something that has absolutely nothing to do with you. I'm having a debate about hood prices, baby. Stay over there in Hollywood where they have you looking like a ghost," end quote. This little Twitter feud had fans laughing and memeing the whole situation, and criticized James for even jumping into the conversation in the first place. Now, before carrying on with the list, I'd like to ask you guys to consider leaving a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and also check out my gaming channel, Viper Girl, and hit that subscribe button while you're there. At number 8, Meghan Markle and Kate Middleton. After their bombshell Oprah interview, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry have been scrutinized for a lot of what they spoke about. One of the biggest things people are talking about in regards to their interview is their relationship with the rest of their family. According to sources, the most strained relationships are those between Meghan Markle and Kate Middleton, as well as Prince Harry and his brother William. Meghan and Kate have reportedly been on poor terms for a long time, with some sources saying that they haven't spoken to each other in over a year. During the interview, Meghan addressed the public's view on her feud with Kate over Princess Charlotte's dress at Meghan's wedding, saying that Kate made her cry over it. Though they eventually patched things up and Kate apologized, they haven't been on speaking terms, not because of anything personal, but because of the feud between their husbands. There doesn't seem to be a lot of hate between Meg and Kate, but there seems to be a lot of tension since their partners aren't on good terms with each other. A source explained Meghan and Kate's situation in a statement, saying, quote, "There is real animosity that the brothers have towards one another, and that has spilled over to Meghan and Kate's relationship, making it very hard for them to be friends or even friendly," end quote. Hopefully they can one day patch things up for the sake of being rid of this negative energy. At number 7, Addison Rae and Bryce Hall. Two of TikTok's biggest stars and former power couple Addison Rae and Bryce Hall have been feuding with each other ever since their messy breakup just a few weeks ago. In March of this year, there were reports that the couple had split up for the second time after their relationship was bombarded with cheating rumors and scandals. These rumors first came about during a Zoom call with some of her fans, where Addison revealed that she and Bryce had been fighting, and so these rumors got off the ground and started circulating. Shortly after that, Addison made a cryptic Instagram post about how she wanted to keep some of the things she's dealing with away from the public eye. There was some speculation that this had something to do with Bryce, and this theory was embraced by more followers as they started to notice that some of Bryce and Addison's couple pictures had been removed from social media. Later, their breakup was finally addressed with a simple confirmation of their split. We don't know why they broke up or if the cheating rumors are true, but they are on and off again, so their feuding and fighting may only last a short amount of time, but we shall see. At number 6, Tana Mongeau and Cole Kerrigan. Influencers Tana Mongeau and Cole Kerrigan have been caught in a feud after Cole alleged that Tana hacked his social media accounts and tried to sue him for $100,000. It all started when Cole put Tana on blast by sharing a screenshot of a cease and desist text allegedly sent by Tana's lawyer. The text essentially warned Cole that he was in violation of a contract he had signed with Tana and that a breach of contract would subject him to pay $100,000. The contract, it is alleged that Tana has her circle of friends sign a non-disclosure agreement each year, and so now Cole is in trouble after one of his social media posts violated the terms of said contract. Now on top of this lawsuit, Cole also claims that Tana hired someone to hack his social media accounts, where they were able to delete a number of accounts like his YouTube channel and Twitter account. Cole claims that all of this drama is because he is one of the only people that Tana knows who isn't afraid to speak out about her. Cole has also claimed that Tana has kicked him out of her house, used him for free makeup services, and would even go through his personal belongings when he wasn't home. There haven't been many updates on this feud, but I'm sure that this is far from over. At number 5, Bad Baby and Dr. Phil. If you're a fan of the show Dr. Phil, then you may be familiar with Danielle Bregoli, aka the Cash Me Outside girl. Danielle, now known as rapper Bad Baby, was on the show because her mother was struggling to help her with her behavioral issues. As a result of her time on the show, Dr. Phil referred Danielle to a reform camp of sorts called Turnabout Ranch. The ranch is supposed to be a teen residential facility where they rehabilitate troubled teens. Well, recently Danielle came out to talk about her experiences at the ranch, recounting the abuse that she endured there and calling Dr. Phil out on recommending such a horrific place. The rapper claimed that she was apprehended by workers in the middle of the night, taken from her home and transported to the ranch where she was forced to stay awake for 3 days. She also spoke out about the facility's use of restraints on teens in attendance and how many other attendees cited many instances of abuse while at the ranch. Danielle spoke out about her experiences in her YouTube video, and she spoke directly to Dr. Phil, condemning his support for such a place and warned him that if he doesn't take accountability, that she would, quote, handle things her way. As of right now, Dr. Phil has yet to comment on the situation, but I'm sure that Danielle is planning her fight for justice. At number 4, Sabrina Carpenter and Olivia Rodrigo. One of the hottest songs out there right now is Driver's License by Olivia Rodrigo, and though it is seen as the breakup anthem of 2021, it's also got a huge backstory and a huge feud surrounding it. Essentially, Olivia wrote Driver's License after her breakup with her High School Musical, the series co-star Joshua Bassett. Apparently, this was a very messy breakup that turned into a very messy love triangle after actress Sabrina Carpenter was brought into the mix and started dating Joshua. Are you following? Okay, so Olivia releases a song with a few nods to Joshua's new relationship with Sabrina. Next, in response to Olivia's song, Joshua releases a few songs of his own, including one called Lie Lie Lie. And then, Sabrina released a song of her own that included references to Olivia, as the song was about getting into a new relationship while an ex watches on. Now, no one is saying anything directly, and it is a very read between the lines kind of situation, but it's still very messy and fans are obsessed. It could all be for PR, or maybe not, but it is certainly a very juicy story. At number 3, Prince Harry and Prince William. One of the biggest feuds on this list is one that I briefly mentioned before. Prince Harry and Prince William have been feuding for years, but with his exit from the royal family as well as his bombshell interview with Oprah, things may have gotten even more tense. The brothers have always had a strained relationship even when growing up. It is said that William adopted a more serious attitude, being the one destined for the throne, and Harry was more laid back and carefree. These two personalities apparently clashed a lot growing up and remains difficult to this day. Now, with the added strain on the family following Harry and Meghan's interview, William is reportedly furious with his brother. According to sources, William is struggling to hold back his side of the story, as the Queen has said that they would be handling the situation privately. Sources say that William is looking to defend his wife Kate, as well as clear up any rumors surrounding racial allegations within the family. Harry and William haven't spoken in a long time according to sources, and I don't really think they will be anytime soon. At number 2, Sharon Osbourne and Cheryl Underwood. After becoming friends on The View, Sharon Osbourne and Cheryl Underwood are now feuding with each other after they got into a very heated argument surrounding Piers Morgan's remarks about Meghan Markle. Sharon backed up Piers' comments about Meghan Markle's mental health, and this frustrated Cheryl. The two got into a very heated debate that ended with Sharon in tears, but this also sparked a conversation about Sharon's ideals. She was called a racist, and a number of other accusations came out about how she has used various slurs in the past when talking about her other co-hosts. As a result of this, Sharon was fired from the show and an internal investigation was launched. Cheryl said that she and Sharon were good friends, but because of this feud, they haven't spoken to each other. Sharon said that she tried sending Cheryl an apology text, but it went unanswered. We don't know if they'll make up, but it might be too soon to tell. And finally, at number 1, Conor McGregor and Jake Paul. Now I'm gonna keep this one short and sweet because there is just so much pettiness and I can't handle it. Basically, there is a one-sided feud between Conor McGregor and Jake Paul. Jake wants to fight Conor, and Conor's like, meh. Jake has been seen all over social media antagonizing, posting videos, and calling him names, and even bribing the guy with a $50 million check. Really, it's very childish, playground type drama that no one besides Jake really has the time for. After all his antagonizing, nothing really ever came of it. Conor hasn't fought Jake and probably never will because of how annoying he is. Sorry to all the Jake Paul fans, but you kinda have to admit he's gone a little too far with this one, right?
Beginning our countdown at number 10 is Cardi B vs Azalea Banks. It all started 2 years ago when Azalea decided to throw some shade on Cardi during one of her interviews. She went as far as calling her, I quote, an illiterate, untalented rat. She randomly came up in conversation because Azalea was talking about the culture surrounding black women. She said, 2 years ago the conversation surrounding black women's culture was really reaching an all-time high, and we were really like discussing our power amongst ourselves. There was just this really intelligent conversation going on nationally, and then everything just kind of changed, and then it was like, Cardi B. From there it caused this whole big thing on Instagram, and just a few months ago the two of them started going at it, and Azalea was claiming that Cardi's team was apparently stalking her Instagram page and trying to steal her looks. She started posting online saying that Cardi makes everything look cheap and dirty. Nothing like a good old-fashioned Instagram feud, it is just one of many for our girl Cardi. Next up at number 9 is Cardi B vs Asia. Some people got to see this fight go down live on the reunion show of Love and Hip Hop New York. It happened back in February 2017 when Cardi attacked her on the show and threw a shoe at her. This seems to be Cardi's go-to move, the whole shoe throwing thing. Apparently the girls had been beefing for a while, and it was a buildup of tension that just basically exploded on the show. To sum it up, Asia had stated many times that she didn't like Cardi, but never said why. Like, the two girls never actually had issues, Asia just didn't like her. So Cardi and the show host kept asking Asia to explain herself, but she wouldn't. Cardi was making claims that she didn't like her because she judged her for being a stripper in her past, but Asia wouldn't say anything. I guess the silence got to her and Cardi went off and threw a shoe at her. You can literally see Cardi like quietly bend down, take off her shoe, and then chuck it at the girl's face. And that is a heel too, so that has to hurt. Like, you could poke someone's eye out with that. Swiping our number 8 spot is Cardi B vs The Nation. Not gonna lie, I had no idea who these people are, but apparently The Nation is a crew of 10-year-old rappers. Literally. But this feud will depend on whose side of the story you believe. The youngsters posted a diss track against Cardi, saying that she was washed up and belongs in a zoo. They went as far as saying she smells like a turd, because I guess these are the types of insults that 10-year-old rappers use, but they did step up their insult game and said, I quote, I don't know what's faker, your life or your butt. And one of them actually shoved a pillow down his pants to like start dancing and imitating Cardi. After that, Cardi responded through an Instagram live video and said, not gonna let some little effin' white boys come at me all mother effin' long day. Mother effer, shut the F up and stay in your mother effin' place. Go drink your mother effin' milk. Yes, I obviously had to say what I can't say on here, but God, I love her. The group of boys didn't seem bothered by her response. They actually posted a clip of it to their YouTube, which included a link to their Instagram. But some people started calling her a bully afterwards, saying that she was picking on younger kids, and Cardi denies that she was ever even talking about them. She never said their name and said that people just assumed that she was speaking about them when she wasn't. Girl, I know exactly what happened here. You were totally talking about them, but obviously they're 10 and you didn't want to get in trouble. Moving on to number 7, we have Cardi B vs Travis Scott fans. Leave it up to Cardi to get in some beef with some other celebrity's fan base. But you know what? I do not blame her for this one. I probably would have done the same thing. Earlier this year, Travis premiered his Netflix documentary called Look Mom, I Can Fly, which included a scene of him losing Best Rap Album to Cardi at the Grammys. The documentary showed how upset he was backstage and how he dealt with the loss a few days following the ceremony. Although the rapper was able to get over it, his fans weren't, and they began attacking Cardi, saying that she didn't deserve the win, and also accused her of not writing her own stuff. So Cardi let his fans know what she thought, saying that she even promoted Travis's work Astroworld on her social media and remains friends with him. She said, yeah, some grown men talking about dragging Cardi because I won an award for a bomb album. Mind you, I myself promoted Astroworld on my page when it came out and have a good relationship with Trav, while some small men talking about dragging a girl. Keep in mind, this is just one tweet. Girl went off on those Twitter birds, but I would to defend my work too, and my win. No one has taken a Grammy from me. In at number 6 is Cardi B vs Access Hollywood. One thing Cardi is known for is her Instagram live rants. Fans love joining her lives as a way to connect with her, but also because she is usually going off on some crazy rant when she's on them. Not gonna lie, I've joined a few of them and it is always entertaining. When she's not mad, she's just really funny. Just a few months ago, she went on her live to go on a rant after she did some press work with Access Hollywood. She was heated, to say the least, and started off the video with a bunch of terms that I can't even say or they will just get bleeped out, but she stressed the point that she does not play around when it comes to her kid, so we know they did something involving her daughter culture. Apparently during an interview they asked her how things have changed since experiencing motherhood. She went on a long explanation and told them that she can't do as much as she could before, and says that sometimes she will pick spending 5 hours with her daughter over 5 hours in the studio. She made it a point to say, yes, I could hire a babysitter, but I'm not going to do that because I don't want my kid calling someone else mommy, and it is important to spend time with your kids. So, Access Hollywood chopped up her response and titled it with the headline, "Cardi B admits that culture calls someone else mommy due to work." She was so mad in this live video, you guys. She's literally screaming at the camera like as if it's Access Hollywood, and tells them not to twist her words and use her kids as clickbait. Preach, mama. I agree with that. She also said she would never do press for them again, and she said that she was gonna spit on them the next time she sees them. She also said a lot of other threatening, horrific things that I can't say, so you can go watch the clip on YouTube after this. Halfway through the list at number 5 is Cardi B vs Tekashi. It is no secret that Tekashi spent months in and out of court. It made headlines and quickly turned into a series of memes, because that is just the world that we live in now. But the world was shocked when Tekashi technically snitched while on trial, saying that Cardi B was a part of the same gang as him, the Bloods. Now, I don't know much about gangs, but one thing I do know is that you never snitch on someone, bro. That is against the rules. In court, he was asked if he joined a gang to get ahead in his music career, and that is when he used Cardi B as an example, saying that she was also a member of the gang, and even used some Blood members in one of her music videos. His attorney said he was using Cardi as an example to help his case, and fans thought that roping her into all of that was incredibly wrong and messed up. Cardi B's first response was a hilarious meme though. She continued to deny any of the claims, and for the most part she actually kept her cool on social media. Of course, she stuck up for herself and her side of the story, but she didn't go off on some big rant, and that is probably because she ain't trying to get involved with all that legal mess. That's serious stuff. But nonetheless, a gang member that snitches, you got some beef now. Here we are at number 4 with Cardi B vs Offset. For those who don't know, Offset is Cardi's husband and also the father of her daughter Culture. These two have had their fair share of feuds, and we only know because most of them made headlines. It all started when Tekashi 69's girlfriend Jade made claims that Offset was DMing her things like, "Miss you." She even screen recorded her DMs to show it, but Offset said that his account was hacked and stuck to his defense that he never cheated on Cardi. Turns out he actually did cheat on her, which she found out about. Cardi keeps her relationship issues off Instagram live rants, but we can imagine the feud those two had when she found out that he cheated on her. However, this feud does come with a happy ending because she chose to stay and work on their marriage. During an interview she said, "When me and my husband got into our issues, he cheated and everything, I decided to stay with him, and a lot of women felt disappointed in me. Everybody has issues. I believe in forgiveness. I prayed on it. Me and my husband, we prayed on it." So I gotta give her credit for being open and honest about her decision. I mean, it's your life, girl. I'm personally just proud of her for not hopping on one of those Instagram lives about her personal life like that. In the 3rd spot is Cardi B vs the famous reporter Jelena Solano. Cardi B decided to spend a day off at a spa in New York with her parents and her baby daughter. That is where she was approached by the Univision reporter who tried to get an interview with Cardi and her dad. Video footage of the altercation was leaked online and showed Cardi calling her the B word and said that she doesn't know how to do her job. She later went on Instagram Live, of course, and exploded, saying that Jelena and her camera crew were basically stalking her that day and approached her out of nowhere without any warning to have her do a live interview on the show. In her rant she said, "I love the show, but the way you work, you lady are not professional. I'm literally getting out of my car, the door is not even closed, and you see that I'm with my daughter and I'm with my dad, and you put a camera. I turn around and there's a camera and a mic in my mouth. You don't know how to do your job." I would personally like to point out that she's not even on the sidewalk when they approach her with the mic and camera. Like, she's literally standing on the side of the road with her dad while her mom and daughter are inside of the spa already. Filling in the number 2 spot is Cardi B versus Baddie G and Jade. Cardi was accused of attacking them at a strip club, and since the altercation they have both been banned from working there. The two sisters, aged 21 and 23, were bartending at a Angeles strip club when Cardi allegedly threw a hookah pipe and drinking glasses at them. They claim that she did it because she thought one of them had slept with her husband Offset. The girls immediately reported the incident to the police, and Cardi was charged with 2 misdemeanors, assault and reckless endangerment. After the incident, of course, Cardi went off online and was threatening to put her hands on them, but it was ultimately settled in court. Cardi's bail was set at $2,500, but the judge released her without bail because he didn't consider her to be a flight risk. I mean, obviously, we're gonna know where you are, girl. However, he did issue an order of protection for the two girls that forbids Cardi having any contact with them, which includes threats or comments on social media, so baby girl needs to keep them out of her mouth in those Instagram live rants. She's gonna end up in jail. Alright guys, I know you've been waiting for this one, and the number 1 spot is Cardi B versus Nicki Minaj. One of the most epic showdowns of all time. The two rappers have a long history together, and it would take me an hour to fully dissect it, but I will address the feud that led to Cardi throwing her shoe yet again. It all went down in September 2018 when the two of them showed up to the same event at New York Fashion Week. Video footage leaked online immediately, which showed Cardi lunging at Nicki before security quickly broke it up. Lo and behold, Cardi takes off one of her heels and throws it at her since she's unable to reach her. They both went online after, voicing their side of the story. There's a lot of he said, she said, but Cardi's big post said that Nicki was making remarks about her daughter and her abilities about her as a mother, and that is really what set her off that night. Since then, the two of them have apparently squashed their beef, but we will see how long Cardi keeps those heels on for. In the number 10 spot is Elon Musk and Johnny Depp. If you missed what's been going on between them, they started feuding after Depp made claims that his ex-wife Amber Heard had an affair with Elon when they were together. Not only that, but he accused him of having a threesome with Amber and Cara Delevingne, which he denied. Actually, they all denied it. Elon gave a statement following his claims and said that he was never with Amber while she was married to Depp, and that it is totally false. Depp and Amber are in a really nasty lawsuit right now for domestic violence, and one of the text messages used as evidence had Johnny threatening to cut off Elon's genitals. Oh wow. Once this news surfaced, Elon responded by challenging Johnny to a cage fight. Of course, the internet is taking this very seriously and is already betting their odds on who would win. So let me know in the comments, who do you think would win? Are we team Johnny or are we team Elon? Team Johnny, he would just, I feel like he don't mess around. Up next, number 9 is Harry Jowsey and Francesca Farrago. The couple took the world by storm after the new Netflix series Too Hot to Handle blew up. People quickly fell in love with them and started getting invested with them as a couple. But then what seemed like out of nowhere, Francesca posted a 6-minute YouTube video where she was crying and explaining that Harry had broken up with her and that some of the rumors going around were true. We later found out that they were cheating rumors. Then he posted a YouTube response video saying that it wasn't that, and that he simply just fell out of love with her. A few months to follow, nasty rumors kept going around, and Francesca posted a written statement to her Instagram story saying she now has her lawyer involved. That's how serious some of these things are getting. I've never, like, a breakup involving lawyers? Damn. Y'all weren't even together that long. This is crazy. Sliding into number 8 is Jillian Michaels and Lizzo. Jillian Michaels is a health and fitness guru who caused some controversy after making comments about Lizzo that came off as body shaming. She was doing an interview on BuzzFeed News AM to DM when she talked about Lizzo's body and said, "Why are we celebrating her body? Why does it matter? Cause it isn't going to be awesome if she gets diabetes. I'm just being honest." Fans quickly defended Lizzo and slammed Julia for fat shaming. Lizzo took the high road in this one, so the feud was really between Julia and Lizzo's fans, but other celebrities actually got involved too and defended Lizzo, like Jamila Jamil and Whoopi Goldberg. Sliding to number 7 is Nicki Minaj and Meek Mill. There's been bad blood between Nicki's ex, Meek Mill, and her current husband, Kenneth Petty, for a long time now. But in February 2020, Nicki took things to another level after seeing that Meek liked a meme which made fun of her new husband. She posted an Instagram story where she wrote, "You a clown, you do it for likes, hashtag Twitter fingers, beat women, scared of men." Her allegations that he beats women was not taken lightly, and he responded on Twitter saying, "The only way you can try to end my career is to say I beat women, talk about your brother convicted of rape and you knew and paid for his lawyer." Being honest, I think his comment was also too far. He was referring to Nicki's brother, who was sentenced to 25 years to life for predatory sexual assault. The whole situation escalated very quickly, and their tweets just continued, where they made very serious claims against each other involving domestic violence. Y'all, stop fighting with your damn exes. They in the past. Rolling into number 6 is Ellen DeGeneres vs. everyone. Now, I know this sounds silly, you guys, but there's no better way to describe this one. I literally just can't narrow it down to one person. For some reason, 2020 is not Ellen's year, and the world has turned against her. She was once known for being America's sweetheart, but then she started getting exposed for mistreatment in the workplace and towards other celebrities. It all started when a mean side to her was exposed by Nikki Tutorials and Dakota Johnson, both who were guests on her show. From there, more celebrities came forward with stories, as well as her former employees and even her old bodyguard. Things have gotten so bad, the Ellen DeGeneres show is under international investigation by Warner Media. Executives from the show sent out a memo to staff members saying interviews will be conducted about their experiences on set by a Warner Media's employee relations group. Things are getting serious for Ellen. Damn. I thought it was just some gossip, but halfway through our countdown, number 5 is Tati Westbrook and James Charles. You probably saw their feud online, even if you don't actively follow their YouTube careers. It was probably the biggest YouTube feud of 2019, and it had people talking about it for months. We're actually still talking about it now, a year later, as you can see. Tati and James were close friends, but then Tati went online and accused James of being a predator to minors. He ended up losing hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and people were attacking him online, accusing him of sexually harassing minors. Things were getting very serious. James ended up posting a response video to hers where he was devastated she would make claims like that, and said the things that she was claiming were far from true. Other beauty YouTubers then got involved in the whole thing, and it was just one messy situation, and it still is, because new things keep coming up and people are getting involved. This is like a year-long fight, guys. Moving on to number 4 is Bella Thorne and Tana Mongeau. The two of them dated for a long time, but things were a little confusing from the outside looking in. During their relationship, Bella was also in a committed relationship to Maud's son, but they were all okay with the fact that she was dating two people, very openly. But Bella ended up splitting from both of them, and then pictures surfaced of Tana and Maud's son out having dinner. They were not being romantic with each other in the photos, but it was enough to set Bella off on Twitter. She tweeted, "Tana and I are no longer good, she broke girl code, I'm over it." She even went on to make claims that Tana was dating her in the first place for Twitter, basically for clout. Tana responded to her saying she has no idea why she's mad and that her claims are super hurtful. Honestly, it was pretty wild to see them having a fight on Twitter, because fans were chiming in as each tweet was being sent. Like, they were waiting, like, who's gonna answer next? What's gonna happen? Guys, just text each other. Alright guys, so number 3 is Taylor Swift and Scooter Braun. Scooter is one of the biggest record executives in the music industry and owns Big Machine label group. He works with tons of big artists like Justin Bieber and Ariana Grande. But in 2019, Taylor exposed him for allegedly bullying her and using her music against her. She said that he acquired her entire music catalog from her first 6 albums after he purchased the label group for $300 million on June 30th and was using that to his advantage. She posted an open letter to him revealing that he has all rights to her old music and she is not able to purchase them back. She wrote, "Scooter has stripped me of my life's work that I wasn't given an opportunity to buy. My musical legacy is about to lie in the hands of someone who tried to dismantle it. This is my worst case scenario." Taylor shared the post with her fans on social media, explaining why she wasn't allowed to perform any of her old songs at the AMAs. At that point, other celebrities got involved, some of them defending Scooter because like they are his artists, but Taylor's fans stuck by her side. In spot number 2 is Prince William and Prince Harry. They have been having having a royal rift for many years now, and a lot of people are confused by the whole thing. But they are human and it is normal for siblings to fight. Apparently the feud started between them when Prince William said words about Harry's wife, Meghan Markle. It started back in 2016 when Harry met Meghan and finally introduced her into his family. William was not as supportive of it as other members in the family were, and referred to Meghan as this girl. From there, Meghan was a huge topic and argument between them, but also the family as a whole. Some people felt she came with too much baggage or maybe was untrustworthy, and that they needed to keep guard of it as she entered into the royal position. But Harry and Meghan have decided to leave the royal family, and the brothers say they are working on the relationship, so let's hope they can figure it out. We have made it to number 1, and we have Kanye West and Kim Kardashian. This one is a more one-sided feud, but it is taking the world by storm right now. Kanye recently announced he would be running for president, but started acting erratic during the presidential campaign rally. He ended up having a meltdown where he started crying and saying that he almost killed one of his own children through an abortion. The whole thing was filmed and it went viral immediately. Not long after that, he went on Twitter and slammed his wife Kim Kardashian, saying that she and her family are white supremacists who tried to have him locked up with medical care. He was making a bunch of random claims, saying that he was trying to divorce Kim for a while and also accused her of having an affair with Meek Mill. But it is clear that he is struggling right now with mental issues and has been seeking help for them. He deleted the tweets a few days later and also apologized to Kim on Twitter. The most recent update though is photos recently surfaced of them talking in the car together, and Kim was just in full out tears. So it seems that it was a very emotional talk. Starting us off at number 10 is Mason Disick and Jeffree Star. First of all, isn't Mason Disick like 9 years old? How the hell did he end up in a feud with the biggest YouTube beauty guru in the world? I'm confused. Here's what happened. For starters, Mason Disick is Kourtney Kardashian's oldest son, in case you did not know who he is. He recently started a fire in March 2020 when he went online and called Jeffree Star spoiled AF. But Jeffree fired back at him, even though he is in fact, guys, 10 years old. Jeffree responded by a tweet and said, "I had $500 in my bank account 6 years ago. Maybe he's confused with his own privilege versus mine being self-made. Hopefully his father can educate him soon." Mason's dad is actually Scott Disick, who goes by the name Lord Disick, so the likelihood of that happening is probably pretty slim. Coming in next, number 9 is Miley Cyrus and Nicki Minaj. We didn't really know about the feud until the very awkward public exchange they had at the 2015 MTV Music Video Awards. Miley was hosting the award show, but at one point Nicki was on stage saying her part and finished by saying, "And now back to the bitch that had a lot to say about me in the press. Miley, what's good?" You could tell that Miley was completely thrown off by the comment, and the spotlight awkwardly went to Miley and just faded out from Nicki. It was super uncomfortable. Turns out that articles were saying Miley had said some rude things about Nicki in the press earlier that week. But Miley ended up saying on stage, to kind of clear her name, that news outlets tend to twist the words of other celebrities and that she actually has no issue with Nicki. Sliding into number 8 is Vin Diesel and Dwayne Johnson. The majority of us probably thought they would be like brothers after filming together in Fast 5, but by the end of the movie series they strongly disliked each other. While they were filming the 8th movie of the franchise, Dwayne posted on social media saying he is dealing with a candy ass on set. Fans were confused at first because we didn't really expect there to be so much tension to a point where you're writing about it on social media. There were rumors going around at that time about these two fighting, so people just kind of quickly pieced that together. Dwayne later spoke about it and said he has put it behind him, and apparently their tension was so bad at some points that they actually requested stand-ins to film some of their scenes. Rolling to number 7, we have Chelsea Handler and Angelina Jolie. To be honest, I didn't even know that they had beef with each other, so that is how unexpected this one is for me personally. The tiff came after news broke of Angelina and Brad Pitt's divorce. Apparently Chelsea was not okay with their decision, and she did not hesitate to express her thoughts on it. She spoke about it and called Angelina a effing lunatic. It was later revealed that she had a personal issue with her because she once fooled around with her friend's man, referring to Brad Pitt's ex Jennifer Aniston, who is friends with Chelsea. But Chelsea later felt bad for her comment and said, "I'm upset that I was so upset with Angelina Jolie. I realize she is probably just trying to do her best too." Isn't that sweet? Yeah, you had really no say in their divorce, but okay. Up next, number 6 is Lady Gaga and Kelly Osbourne. Such a random pair of people to have an issue with each other. Like, do they even know each other well enough to have a problem? The battle between them started in 2009 when Kelly called Gaga a butterface on her show Fashion Police. Gaga responded with an open letter telling her that her show criticizes and rates people's beauty and that is wrong. The feud was ongoing for years until 2013 when Gaga tried to make a peace offering. The singer made an appearance in October on the X Factor UK, where she gave Sharon Osbourne, who was a judge, a cake to celebrate her daughter's birthday. Kelly was turning 29 and it just so happened to fall on that same day. Sharon and Gaga even took a smiling picture together with the cake, but Kelly did not accept it and wrote on Twitter, "Not to be ungrateful, but why would you send me a birthday cake via my mother in a country half the world away?" She then posted a picture of the cake to her Instagram with the hashtags "Eat my poo" and hashtag hypocrisy. But Gaga ended the feud and responded with kindness, God bless her soul, and she tweeted, "I didn't know it was your birthday until this afternoon, meant as a peace offering, happy birthday." God bless Gaga, are you kidding me? I would just take that cake home and eat it myself. Halfway through the list is Sarah Jessica Parker and Kim Cattrall. All the Sex and the City girls seem to be like sisters from the outside looking in. But early in the TV series there were rumors going around that these two did not get along. In 2004, Kim admitted that money had something to do with it, revealing that Sarah received a higher salary, and when they did not agree with her financial demand, she quit the show. Down the road in 2017, Daily Mail reported that the third Sex and the City movie was cancelled because of Kim, stating that Warner Brothers refused to meet her demands and had to cancel production, despite the other girls being on board for another movie, and fans obviously very excited about it. Sarah has always said that Kim was a close friend to her, but there seems to be some weird disconnect because Kim told Piers Morgan that the other girls were always just colleagues to her. That's so awkward. We've made it to number 4 and we have Howard Stern and Lena Dunham. The whole thing seemed to be one-sided after Howard completely dissed her on his radio show back in 2013. He was talking about the actress and her HBO show Girls and said, "It's a little fat girl who kinda looks like Jonah Hill and she keeps taking her clothes off and it kinda feels like I don't want to see that." The whole comment was honestly like very unnecessary, not sure where it came from, but Lena was able to laugh it off later on, and she actually called into his show to talk about it after he apologized though. He did end up apologizing for that random comment, and they were able to kind of shake it off. Taking over the 3rd spot is Khloe Grace Moretz and Kim Kardashian. Another random feud that happened on Twitter and lasted way longer than it needed to. It started after Kim posted a nude mirror selfie on her social media pages. The selfie was obviously a little censored, but Khloe did not approve of her post and made sure everyone knew about it. Khloe commented on her post and wrote, "I truly hope you realize how important setting goals are for young women, teaching them we have so much more to offer than our bodies." Kim quickly fired back, pointing out that Khloe posed nude for her Nylon magazine cover shoot. Side note, she was actually wearing a jacket over her body, but she is nude underneath, so yeah. Kim tweeted in response saying, "Let's all welcome Khloe Moretz to Twitter since no one knows who she is. Your nylon cover is cute, boo." Kim's family even got involved after that, and Khloe Kardashian started tweeting at her too, and honestly it was just Twitter chaos. Taking over the number 2 spot is Neil Patrick Harris and James Woods. Neil posted a photo of an 8-year-old boy with his family at Pride, and James tweeted a response that was incredibly inappropriate and offensive. He tweeted, "This is sweet. Wait until this poor kid grows up, realizes what you've done, and stuffs both of you dismembered into a freezer bag in the garage." I mean, who in their right mind says something like that to someone? Like, to me, the only type of person to say something like that is someone who would dismember someone and stick them in the freezer. That is crazy. Neil responded by calling him utterly ignorant and classless and said that he should be ashamed of himself. Turns out Neil was actually very close with the young boy's family, which is why he took that photo with him. In the number 1 spot is Ariana Grande and Piers Morgan. The pop star picked a bone with him back in 2018 after he criticized Ellen DeGeneres, claiming that she drools over famous men's bodies and how if he did that towards women he would be called a pig. He also went after Little Mix and said that they use nudity to sell their records, not their talent. Ariana Grande got involved by sticking up for Ellen even though the comments had nothing to do with her. She tweeted at him saying, "Ellen is an incredible and kind human being. I use my talent and my sexuality all the time because I choose to. Women can be sexual and talented, naked and dignified. It's our choice. And we will keep fighting till people understand. I say this with all due respect, but thank you. Next." The two of them battled it out for a bit in tweets, but later admitted that they had a civil conversation and worked it all out.
At number 10, Saweetie and Quavo. Singer Saweetie and rapper Quavo recently announced their breakup, and it was kind of messy. It first started with a simple heads-up tweet from Saweetie telling her followers that they had broken up, but shortly after, footage was leaked which showed the former couple fighting in an elevator. Though this footage was from a year ago, it gave people a look at how their relationship was at the time. Their feuding was only now brought to light as they were sort of exposed for being toxic. Both Saweetie and Quavo have said that they've moved on from this incident, and Quavo clarifies that he never abused his girlfriend. Their breakup has caused some feuding within Quavo's family as well, making this an all-around unfortunate and toxic time for them. At number 9, Cardi B and Candace Owens. Just when we thought the WAP controversy was over, in walked Candace Owens to rehash it. After performing the song live at the Grammys, Cardi B was faced with WAP backlash again, as Candace called her out for the imagery of the song and performance. She appeared on Fox News discussing the performance and calling it a, quote, attack on American values, saying that it was weakening American society and that the dancers that night were, quote, actively trying to make children aspire to things that are grotesque, end quote. This led to both women feuding on Twitter, taking jabs at one another, and really just making for a very toxic environment. Things could have just ended there, but then lawsuits became a threat. Candace tweeted saying that she would be suing Cardi over alleged screenshots that were shared, and Cardi threatened to countersue. There haven't really been many developments since then, but I hope that this online feud does not make it to the courts. Now before I go any further, I would like to ask you guys to consider leaving a like on this video, and also check out my gaming channel Viper Girl if you're looking for some extra content to enjoy. At number 8, Lil Nas X and Candace Owens. Candace Owens really is out here feuding with everyone because she's not only fighting with Cardi, but she also has it out for Lil Nas X as well. Nas has been in the news recently for the backlash surrounding the satanic imagery from his Montero music video, and in response, Candace said that people like Nas are what's, quote, keeping Black America behind. When the singer saw what Candace had been saying about him, he clapped back at her, calling her a flop and reminding her how successful his music really is. In return, Candace tweeted saying, quote, yes, you successfully got used by corporations to help further destroy our youth. Congratulations on being a pawn in a game that you don't likely understand. We can take cheap shots on Twitter, or I can welcome you to have this discussion with me publicly because it matters, end quote. Candace is a very outspoken person, so it's not surprising that a feud like this would come about, but fans are still defending Nas no matter what, and the singer doesn't really seem to care about her opinion anyway. At number 7, Khloe Kardashian and the internet. Now this may not be the biggest feud out there, but it is definitely strange. Recently, Khloe found herself in a bit of a scandal after an unedited photo of her was accidentally posted to social media. The post was quickly circulated on the internet before being taken down, and Khloe has been trying to cover it all up since. She says that she's insecure about that photo because of how she's portrayed, and that she blames the internet and social media for the way that she sees herself, as she always has to look perfect. She's so serious about blocking this image from people that she's saying that she has every right to issue a lawsuit in order to get it taken down from the internet. Now she's feuding with the internet to take back this photo, as well as fans, because she blames them for the whole thing, saying that their pressures of the ideal appearance is what's leading her to such extreme lengths. At number 6, Clarissa Shields and Jake Paul. In my last celebrity feud video, I mentioned Jake Paul and his feud with Conor McGregor, but now there seems to be a new feud going on in the boxing world between Jake Paul and Clarissa Shields. It's again a little more one-sided, but a feud is a feud, and Jake is surprisingly not the one who started it. In a recent interview, Clarissa had some harsh words for Jake and his brother as she called them out for not being real boxers. In the interview, she said, quote, I think Jake Paul and his brother are more like clown shows, to be honest. But they're making money, they're using their platforms, but it's not real boxing, end quote. Clarissa also said that she could easily take Jake in a fight, as she said, quote, I would whoop Jake Paul's ass though, just because he thinks boxing is easy. Clarissa is an Olympic level athlete and Jake is a YouTuber, so I think when it comes to a fight, I'm on Team Clarissa. Jake has not yet responded to her comments, but I honestly wouldn't put it past him. At number 5, Winston Marshall. Sometimes the most devastating feuds are the ones between friends. The banjoist from the band Mumford & Sons, Winston Marshall, faced cancellation recently after he was called out for praising a book that, quote, condemns the destructive rise of Antifa. And this drama caused a huge rift and feud between him and the other members of the band. This all went down after he tweeted the author of the book, calling him a brave man for publishing this book and praising its content and views. As a result, tensions rose within the band because other members just couldn't get behind Winston's ideals. A source close to the band says that this bombshell greatly impacted the band, creating tension within the group. Things got so tense that an emergency band meeting was called where they discussed the matter and came to the conclusion that Marshall needed to take a step back. It was then announced that Marshall would be leaving the band and would be using his time off to, quote, examine his blind spots. After facing this backlash and being kicked out of the band, Marshall tweeted a series of apologies to everyone that he offended, saying that he understands that people, including many of his bandmates, have been hurt by his comments, and also saying, quote, for now, please know that I realize how my endorsements have the potential to be viewed as approvals of hateful, divisive behavior. I apologize as this was not my intention. Not much has been heard from him or the band on the matter, but no one really knows if he'll ever be welcomed back in the future. At number 4, Jojo Siwa and DaBaby. A couple of weeks ago, the internet had a wait, what kind of moment, as there was seemingly a feud going on between Jojo Siwa and rapper DaBaby. It all started when the rapper released his song Beatbox Freestyle, in which he says the lyrics, "You a B, Jojo Siwa." B as in the B word we're not allowed to say on YouTube. People were very confused because it seemed like there was some drama going on between the dancer and the rapper, because no one would just start a feud for no reason, right? Fans were left wondering what Jojo did to leave DaBaby so mad like that. Jojo Siwa feud started trending as people tried to scour the internet looking for the spark that started this flame. Some fans from both sides even started fighting because of this supposed feud. Well, it turned out that there was absolutely no beef whatsoever and people just got mad for no reason. But that's the internet and that kind of happens a lot. The rapper cleared things up when he clarified that he was talking about himself in the song. Since his real name is Jonathan, Jojo for short, and Siwa was interpreted as a twist on CY, that's why he mentioned the YouTuber in the song. To further clarify things, he tweeted Jojo saying, quote, my 3-year-old princess is your #1 fan. Don't let him trick you into ever thinking I have a problem with you. My wordplay just went over their heads. All love on my end, shorty. End quote. At number 3, Joe Rogan and Trisha Paytas. Trisha Paytas feuding with someone really isn't a new thing. I mean, she has a new beef with someone every week, but this time around she's feuding with someone that I honestly wasn't expecting. Comedian and podcaster Joe Rogan is next up to square up with Trisha Paytas, and it's all because of some comments that he made about her on his podcast about Trisha's appearance. On a recent episode of his podcast, Joe and guest Ali Makovsky were discussing Trisha Paytas and her OnlyFans, and when he was shown a photo of her in a bikini for reference, he quipped saying, quote, you can keep that. Well, Trisha caught wind of his comment and came firing back. She decided to clap back at Joe, saying that he has small pee-pee energy, and also went on to say, quote, there's a lot to come for me for, but to look at a photo of me in a bikini going, ugh, you can keep that, why? I've heard Joe Rogan is highly intelligent. Honestly, I look at that and I'm like, he has no intellect whatsoever. He can't come up with a wittier quip, and if you know I'm not your type, you don't have to say anything. End quote. People thought it was uncalled for Joe to make comments about Trisha's appearance, but what do you guys think? Joe is probably now on Trisha's radar, and I'm sure this won't be the last we hear from their feud. At number 2, Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. With the recent divorce announcement from Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, we're beginning to see how their marriage cracked and crumbled, and how things are now. Though they had been putting on a brave face for a long time, it turns out that they had been feuding a lot. Things got so bad that they felt that their relationship was crumbling towards the end of last year, and they made the decision to seek different living arrangements, spending some time apart as a result of the, quote, downright toxicity in their marriage. The hope was to find a way to make things work, especially for their kids' sake, but according to sources, it reached a point where, quote, bickering turned into nasty blow-ups and confrontations. They tried to take some time apart as to not expose their kids to this kind of negativity, but their constant feuding became too much to handle. After Kanye reported reportedly blew up at Kim during a recent argument. They were never able to patch things up after that, and so they filed for divorce. Though they're trying to keep their divorces as private as possible, the Kardashians' testimonies on their show, as well as many sources coming forward, is making it kind of hard for their divorce to remain quiet. They're in a constant feud now as they separate themselves from each other, but I hope things don't get too chaotic for them. And finally, at number 1, Piers Morgan and Meghan Markle. Even though it's been several weeks since Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's bombshell interview, news sources are still talking about it, and there's one person in particular who just won't let it go. Piers Morgan has been very vocal about their whole interview, especially regarding the things that Meghan had said. Though there has been a lot of scrutiny from many sides, Piers is almost the number one person to go to for Meghan Markle's scrutiny. It's gotten to the point where you could call it a feud, even though it's more one-sided. Though in recent weeks, their feuding has been about the things that Meghan said in the interview, like her comments on her mental health. Apparently, this hate goes much deeper. Piers has been outspoken about Meghan ever since she ghosted him in 2016. After that, he's been talking about how she was, quote, prepared to cut people. He would make comments about her family and about her and Prince Harry's decision to leave the royal family, calling them, quote, the world's most tone-deaf, hypocritical, narcissistic, deluded, whiny brats. During the Oprah interview, Meghan opened up about her mental health, saying that there was once a point after marrying into the royal family that she wanted to take her own life, and Piers spoke out about this on Good Morning Britain and said that he, quote, didn't believe a word she said. After Piers made those comments, he started to face backlash as people condemned his comments on Meghan's mental health. Even though he's faced scrutiny, he refuses to take back anything he said, adding to this heated one-sided feud with her.
Kicking off the countdown, number 10 is Ronnie and Sam from Jersey Shore. Rest in peace, the most toxic relationship I've ever witnessed in my entire life so far. If you followed the reality show, then you followed the epic fights that this couple had pretty much every other day. They started dating in the first season back in 2009, and they were on and off for years until 2016. There's honestly too many fights to name. I could literally probably have a top 10 list just with their fights alone. But one fight we will never forget is when Ronnie started taking all of Sam's belongings and tossing them out the door onto the upper deck. He broke her glasses in the process and completely destroyed the majority of her stuff. The craziest part is when he took her bed, like the whole bed, and started to throw it outside, and she jumped on top of it and held on like a spider monkey as he was literally trying to throw it out the window. Needless to say, he got the mattress, but he did not get the bed frame, in case you're wondering. Up next, number 9 is the feud between Amanda and Jessica on Love is Blind. This show aired this past month in February 2020 and has completely taken the world by storm with its unique concept and drama-packed episodes. If you haven't seen it, it helps singles find their match without seeing each other face to face to create this emotional connection over a physical one. And then they have 30 days to get engaged and plan their wedding. It's honestly really weird and crazy, but people are loving it, and I did start watching it. But there's been an ongoing feud between two of the girls on the show, and it is all over a man. Shocker. Long story short, a man named Barnett built a close bond with two girls, Jessica and Amber, but he ended up picking Amber and they ended up getting married. Turns out, Jessica was actively trying to pursue her fiance throughout the whole process, and Amber confronted her, telling her that she would ruin her life and break her nose. Sniping our number 8 spot comes from the MTV reality show The Challenge. Anyone who's followed the series knows that you never want to mess with CT. He is physically enormous and a complete loose cannon when he is angry. Throughout the seasons, he had an ongoing feud with a guy named Adam, and things got heated between them on a few different occasions. But one of their altercations came during the season The Duel 2, and CT went wildebeest on him and had to be held back by 6 other grown men who he was able to fight off also. He is intense, you guys, honestly. The fight has gone down in reality show history, and people often refer to the brawl as David vs. Goliath. Anyone who has heard that Bible lesson before will understand the joke. In spot number 7 is the epic feud from the hills between Lauren Conrad and Heidi Montag. 5 words to sum it up for you, or to refresh your memory. You know what you did. The drama between these two girls has gone down in history. They started out as best friends, practically becoming sisters as they lived together and took the lead spots on the reality series. But then Heidi met a guy named Spencer Pratt, and things went sour real quick. You'd have to watch the show to understand the years of turmoil they went through, but at one point Heidi was allegedly telling people that Lauren made a sex tape and even leaked it to the press. So during this explosive confrontation in public at a very fancy event, Lauren blew up on Heidi and iconically yelled in her face, "You know what you did," because Heidi just kept playing dumb, saying she had no idea why Lauren was mad. That was like the typical move in high school that all girls use. confused. Like, you know what you did, but then you just play dumb and you'd be like, what? Why are you upset with me? I have no idea what you're talking about. It's like, I know exactly what you're talking about. Moving along to number 6 is Kenya Moore vs. Portia Williams on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Whenever someone whips out a megaphone and yells, "You are a dumb hoe," you know that stuff is about to go down. The two ladies had tension between each other in the series, which reached a boiling point, ending in a physical altercation. There was a lot of hair pulling and smack talk, but the fight actually resulted in Kenya pressing assault charges on Portia. She was issued an arrest warrant for her attack, which was all captured on tape, so there was really no denying it. She ended up turning herself in and was put behind bars. She was later let go on a $2,000 bond. She was charged with a misdemeanor battery and had to pay a fine along with doing community service hours. Not worth it, girlfriend. Not worth being put behind bars. Halfway through at number 5 comes from the show Flavor of Love, the feud between Pumpkin and New York. There are a lot of reality dating shows nowadays, and this one is similar to like the whole Bachelor concept. Flavor Flav looks for his next love among 20 new single contenders, so you can just imagine how competitive the ladies would get. One of the feuds went down between two girls who go by their names Pumpkin and New York, and it led to one of them getting spat on. The spitting scene went viral online and showed Pumpkin firing like a loogie in New York's face. Like, you can literally see her gathering mucus from her insides and like winding up to hork it on her. She spit on her and then booked it, so New York chases after her and pushes her on the head, and they crash into some of the cameras. It's crazy, it's chaotic, it's really disgusting in all honesty. She really horks in her face. We've made it to number 4, and we have Jordan and Christian from The Bachelor in Paradise. This one might be the most ridiculous one on our list because the whole fight was over a piñata. Two grown men fighting over a piñata. Here's the whole story. Both men had feelings for Nicole Lopez Alvar, and one night she got back from a date with Christian, so a guy named Clay went to snag some time with her. But Christian wanted to continue the date and refused to give Clay any time with her, so Clay walked away, but then he went and vented to some of his buddies on the show. His buddy Jordan felt that it was important to stick up for his friend, so he crashed Christian and Nicole's hangout by trying to tear down the piñata they had hung. And that is when the two men started fist fighting over this star-shaped piñata. It's so ridiculous. In the 3rd spot comes from the MTV show The Real World, when Nia fought with Johnny and Avery. The TV show did a season in Portland, and not all the strangers in the house were able to get along with each other. During one of the final episodes, fans watched as Nia threatened to beat up Johnny and his girlfriend Avery. She even made a makeshift weapon out of a hairdryer. The feud reached a boiling point, and Nia started attacking Johnny, which made Avery come to his defense. And from there, the whole thing escalated and the two girls started fist fighting. It went down in history to be called one of the most brutal fights in real world history, with people claiming that it was very hard to watch. I actually follow that show like all the time, and I actually watched it live when it was happening, and yeah, it's pretty intense. Taking over number 2 is Abby Lee Miller from the reality series Dance Moms. It's not the typical show you would expect to see physical altercations to happen on, which is why the world was taken by storm when they did. This one is more serious than the other ones on our list because there were actually children present and an arrest was made. Abby Lee is known for being a strict dance teacher, and on the show she often has arguments with some of the other dancers' moms. But none of them got as bad as this one, which resulted in Abby and a mom named Kelly putting their hands on one another. Abby ended up calling the police on her, saying that she attacked her. Kelly ended up filing a countersuit against her, including the Dance Moms production company, for $5 million. She claimed that her daughters were mistreated on the show and that there had been a breach of contract. So this feud was a physical altercation, but then led to a very long and serious lawsuit. Alright guys, we have made it to number 1, and we have The Situation vs. The Wall. If you watch Jersey Shore, you know exactly what I am talking about. If you didn't watch the show, all you need to really know is that Mike Sorrentino, aka The Situation, often had issues with his other housemates, but one of them in particular named Ronnie. Like Ronnie and Sam that I spoke about in number 10? Him. One night, things got heated and the two of them got into the biggest physical altercation that fans had ever seen on the show. But the argument ended up involving an extra participant, the Wall. At one point in the fight, Mike slams his own head against the concrete wall, knocking himself to the ground. He ended up being carried to the hospital on a stretcher and suffered from a really bad concussion, so he actually had to take a break from the activities on the show while wearing a neck brace the whole time.